Good evening, Reading. I'd like to convene the Select Board. Today is December 15th. The Select Board meeting is being recorded for RCTV. Rob is our videographer for this evening. It's being shown live on Comcast Channel 22 or Verizon Channel 33, and you can check out rctv.org for more information and for replay times. So welcome all here in the Select Board room with us and at home. Select Board is here tonight for the sole purpose of voting on a candidate to be our next town manager and to also vote to begin negotiation of a mutually acceptable employment contract. I'd like to thank all of the staff, the screening committee, and my fellow Select Board members for what has been a very thorough, transparent, and collaborative process. We have with us tonight Bernie Lynch from Community Paradigm. I'd also like to thank Community Paradigm for being such a valuable part of this process. It's really been a privilege to be a part of this important next step for my hometown for the past 25 years, and thank you all. So with that, I would like to introduce Bernie Lynch once again, and let Bernie join in.
Before you do that, just mention who's on Zoom from the board.
Very good. So we have Carlo joining us on Zoom, and Ann, Karen, Mark, and Christopher here in the Select Board room. And Sean is taking our meeting minutes for us. Hi, Bernie.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Great to all see you. Sorry I couldn't join you there in the room, but we can do this virtually, I guess. So it's great to be here. If I could just sort of refresh everyone's memory about where you've been, and Karen, I think you've described the process very well. I think it's been a very good process. I think it's been one that's been engaging for the board, for the department heads, and for the public in Reading to be part of this process. When Community Paradigm started with you a few months back, we came in, and one of the first things we do when we come into a search like this is we try to fully understand what the town is looking for as they choose their next town manager. We spend quite a bit of time speaking with each member of the board as the chief elected officials of the town, representing the residents. We spent quite a bit of time speaking with the department heads, gathering information and materials from them as to what the issues were facing the town of Reading. And we spent time with the public. We did it through a hybrid forum that included attendees in person at the community room at the library, as well as residents that chose to participate like this through Zoom. And then we did a survey that had I believe close to 120 residents that weighed in with a variety of comments, as well as just general thoughts regarding what the town should be looking for from the next town manager, and what the issues and opportunities and challenges are that are facing the town. We use that document as a recruitment tool. The town can use it as an opportunity to think about what they really want and what they need. And then, of course, the screening committee and the board can use it as an assessment tool. So that profile serves a variety of purposes. The participation by all of those people and the profile itself also guided us in the development of questions. The questions that we put to the candidates that we interviewed in the screening committee process, and then the interviews that took place with the board. As I say, we use that to go out and recruit. We utilize the Massachusetts Municipal Association, the International City County Management Association, the Emerging Local Government Leaders Organization. We did a general distribution of that to our database, which includes several hundred people that have expressed interest in serving as managers here in Massachusetts, or are currently serving as managers, assistant managers within the state. We also have a number of people on our database that are from out of state that have been in regular contact with us through the years, that are interested in being in Massachusetts and interested in serving as a municipal manager. And then we did targeted outreach to almost 24 people that we thought would be good options for the town. that would meet the criteria that you set, that were from the general region, that we thought would be effective and managers for the town and good candidates. In the end, we received 23 resumes, which is pretty much in line with where we are with most of our searches. It is, as I said at the outset, a very competitive market right now for managers. 2/3 of the communities in Massachusetts have seen their managers leave within the last few years. So it is very competitive. And right around your area, Reading is seen as a very attractive community, but most of the communities around you have turned over managers within that time frame, and so they have relatively new managers, or else they have managers that are at the last couple of years of their contracts and their careers and are unlikely to move. But I thought we had I think the screening committee believed we had a good, strong field of candidates. We had some challenges narrowing the list down, but we found, I think, and identified the best 7 candidates that we could for the town of Reading, which we then moved forward to interview over 2 days of interviews, 2 full days, or almost 2 full days of interviews for selecting 3 finalists. Those 3 finalists, we did reference checks on all of them, pulled together information for the board members to understand the styles of each one of the candidates and their strengths that they could bring to the position. Made ourselves available to board members to discuss that information, as well as the backgrounds of the candidates. And then, of course, we had the finalist selection process that's led to tonight. Each of the candidates came to the town of Reading. They spent time with the department heads, getting a chance to meet them and speak and answer questions both ways. They had a guided tour of the community from the library director, and each one of the candidates has indicated to me that they spent quite a bit of time over a couple of days touring the community on their own, seeing what Reading was all about. They had each one had a lengthy conversation with the school superintendent, and then, of course, they had public interviews with you, the board, last week, with a series of questions that we put forth, and then a number of excellent questions that board members drilled down on. We did, unfortunately, have one withdrawal. Jennifer Phillips did choose to withdraw, believing after spending all of the time that in the end it was not going to be the right fit for her or for the town of Reading if she would come to Reading. So better to get that done ahead of time. But it leaves you with 2 remaining candidates that I think are both very strong. They represent considerable experience, considerably positive backgrounds, different candidates, different skill sets, different styles, but both, I think, could be excellent town managers for the town of Reading. It comes down to now which one you members feel would be the right fit at this time for the town. I'm happy to take questions about any of this, about the process and where you go from here. I did send you all a suggestion of how you could proceed with each member beginning the process by each member sort of giving your thoughts about the candidates. This is a public process, and I certainly recommend that we focus very much on who's the most appropriate fit with the positive attributes that each one brings, as opposed to anything that concerns that you might have from a less positive standpoint. But obviously, I hope that this is a good discussion, and I stand by ready to assist wherever possible.
Thank you, Bernie.
Thanks.
So, any questions before we get started for Bernie? Okay, so thank you, Bernie, for sending us that process document. So at this point, I think we could go ahead and ask select board members one by one to sort of give us their thoughts on the candidates, the strengths, the fit for Reading. Chris, would you like to start?
Sure. I always seem to go first in everything.
But you said I was in the going first.
No, it's age before beauty, Mark. That's the way, but,
Uh-oh, we're in trouble there.
yes, thank you, Karen. Thank you, Bernie, and obviously, thank you to all the residents that volunteered their time as part of this selection process. I've said it enough where volunteers run Reading for the most part. I don't have to beat a dead horse at this point. It's just, it's never ending, and I hope it never will. But more importantly as well, I know this process is Bob is no longer going to be here, so I'd like to just highlight the fact that, you know, it's been an amazing time where he's here. He's setting up the next person for all the success that they could possibly have. Contracts are done. It's just he set the next person up on the right foot, so I appreciate that. I recall talking to Bernie way back when everything began, and he went over the process where he said, oh, we'll get 10, you know, so-so candidates, 10 take a chance on, and 10 like really strong candidates. And I remember saying to myself in my head, there's no way on planet Earth that I am taking a chance on some random person that doesn't have any experience. And then Fidel came into the room. He reminds me of Dr. Milichevsky, our new superintendent. He doesn't have the experience either. He was only an interim superintendent for about 10 months. And so far, the strive that he's made since he's been here has been nothing short of amazing. So I see energy, passion, determination with Fidel. I see someone that's constantly trying to improve himself and everyone around him. I guess the biggest complaint, once again, is just that he was inexperienced. But I started my own business 8 years ago, zero experience with my business partner. Today, I handle 12 mortgages for other people. It's, you know, it's all about that drive and determination. I'm in the seat right now. I wasn't experienced either. I knew nothing about Reading until February, and here I am. So I think Fidel doesn't need this job. He wants it. He sent us, I assume all of us, an email. He individually sent it to me, I know. I assume everyone else. He was the only candidate that did that. I mean, those small little things do count for something. He didn't have to do it. He did it. He's knocked down many walls in order to get here. Nothing has ever been handed to him, and this isn't being handed to him either. Even though Bob's left him in a good spot, I really think that for someone that's going to stick around here for the long run, I definitely see Fidel as being that person. So my vote tonight is going to be Fidel. And I didn't reply to his email. I didn't want any gray area, whatever scenario. But this is my reply to him right now. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Okay, Carlo, would you like to go next?
Sure, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. So I don't want to repeat everything that Chris said. I agree with his sentiments. I think Patrice is a very strong candidate. She presented well, knows how to run a town, knows our process, our town meeting, dealing with the board, dealing with resident issues, capital projects. I was very impressed with Patrice. I was very impressed by all three, actually, in the interview process. And then, as a select board member, being involved at the very end of the process, not through the whole process, I was saying to myself, what does the town need? Who will support the staff? And who will look out for the community long term? We're replacing Bob, but with a different style, with a different person, and probably a different outlook. So for me, that was very important, town staff's input, our input, obviously, the interviewees all did a great job last week. At the end of the night, I thought, gee, this is gonna be a very tough decision. But all throughout the past week, since last week, through all the comments and discussions I had, Fidel rose to the top. For many things that Chris said. I don't need to repeat them. Outstanding individual, and my support will be for Fidel this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlo. Mark, you wanna go? Mr.
Sure.
Secretary?
Sure. So, thanks to my fellow board members. Thanks very much to the volunteers in town in general and in specific who were willing to serve on the search committee. I think that it's a testament to kind of the town, the involvement of people in the town, that we had so many people that wanted to participate in the process and share their input. And I've heard from many people who are not on the committee. I have spoken to many people that were on the committee, and like Carla, I've spoken with a lot of town staff and other folks just to get a flavor in terms of what I think is going on. I would say that there is great feedback on both of these candidates. I heard overwhelmingly from people that they could and would work very well with them. So there weren't style clashes or things like that. I think that what was really heartening also is that the search committee really came together. I know that there were different thoughts on candidates, and after having gone through the process, some people rose higher, some people shifted down, but it really seemed to come together with these three candidates. So again, I think that's really good. I think that where the town should go next is what I've been calling kind of this town manager 3.0. So if Peter Heckenbleckner was 1.0 and Bob was 2.0, I think it's time for 3.0. I think that the world has changed a lot, and COVID has certainly had some impact on that as well. I think the town has changed. I think that the needs of the town, the priorities of the town, some of the activities that need to take place in town have shifted also. So I think that there's a need to kind of adjust and listen to what the residents want and to be able to provide that. I found it very hard in thinking between the two candidates in terms of kind of where to go. Bernie, as you said, I think that there are some really great strengths that each candidate brings to the table. Certainly, Patrice, experienced hand, local roots. As we think about who is kind of ready on day one, I think Patrice would certainly be in a great spot to do that. I love the way that she's chased grants and chased money to support the residents and the needs of the residents, and to have some really great accomplishments that come from that. The style that she brings, I think, is more kind of one who's been in Massachusetts, who understands what's going on, who can bring all of that forward and make that work for the town of Reading. Fidel really impressed me with his commitment. And Chris, you mentioned the walls. I view Fidel as he'll look at the wall, he'll either go around it, over it, or through it. And it almost doesn't matter, but he's going to get to the other side of it and kind of figure out what's going on. I think that's great. I think that he talked about becoming a face in the community, a whole body obviously, but a face, if you will. And I think that that's a really important attribute in terms of how Reading works and how that allows for things to kind of continue, but also to grow. I love that in Chelsea, he was able to, he and obviously the city manager, to hire a DEI officer, the equity and inclusion. And that's something I think that just is just happening or just happened in 2021. I think that the community would love to have a bridge to, and I know Carla, you got the bridge in the background, but I think they'd love a bridge to kind of the next part of Reading and kind of how we're going to do things. I see in Fidel a lot of growth potential. I also see a need for a lot of support from staff, from residents, from boards. And in talking to people, I heard that people would be willing to do that and to make sure that can happen. So I think that we're in this wonderful situation where we cannot make a bad choice. And that, I think that's a fantastic place to be. I thought that I was absolutely certain on where I was going to go, and then my phone started to ring this afternoon. I don't know if anybody else had that same experience. But it got me to kind of, dig back in, think more about what's going on, make sure I was comfortable with how I was thinking. But in the end, I think that I am, and I think that again, no bad choice, but I think the first choice would be Fidel here. Thanks.
Thanks, Mark. Come on, Ann.
Thank you, Karen. So I think we have two exceptional candidates, and we would be fortunate to have either serve as town manager. For me, Fidel does have a slight edge. But first I would like to say a few words about Patrice. I think she is ready to be a town manager. She has strong financial acumen and is performing a similar job in a peer community, which would certainly prepare her well to, as Mark said, to do well on day one, serving the town of Reading. She excels at securing grants and other funding for the municipality she serves. She has strong connections to the Reading area, and I really appreciated the answer she gave about keeping the board in the loop, providing each board member with equal information, and being fair and equitable to employees, providing honesty and directness to the board and to the community, and not allowing things to fester. I just wanted to highlight one reference for Patrice, who said, in Belmont, Patrice does a very good job of unifying groups with different opinions, bringing people in to volunteer and cultivating community support. I think that, you know, a community would be served well by Patrice's leadership. For Fidel, he's very community focused, with engaging in hands-on leadership. Although I would argue that he's not inexperienced. Although he is not a municipal manager, in his current role of Commissioner of Public Works, his portfolio greatly exceeds that of a traditional public works director. And I think that places him in a position of readiness to be a municipal manager. I appreciated his answers and the value that he placed with respect to responsiveness and accountability. The innovation he's demonstrated in transitioning Chelsea to the 311 system. It seems clear he's adept at working through conflict. With respect to his own financial skills and background, he's in charge of budgeting for his own department as well as Chelsea's capital improvement plan.
Excuse me, Ann?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Someone reached out to me, there's trouble with the audio. Can RCTV confirm that?
Oh, no, yes, I got one, the same thing. Hang on a second. No sound.
Yes, no sound, yes, thank you.
Just for Ann or everybody?
I can definitely hear you guys on Zoom, but I'm getting texts as well that
Yeah.
lost sound.
I can hear on Zoom as well. It's the community and the residents who can't hear anything.
It's fine here, I still have audio of everything, so Luke is looking into it, but as far as my recording here and everything, I can still hear Carlo on the Zoom, I can still hear all of you guys, so unless we lost the translation somewhere, but we're looking into that right now.
Thank you.
Sorry about that, guys.
So
Sorry, Ann.
that's okay. I think we should maybe pause until we can figure this out. And do we know if it's on RCTV, the television, or the live stream where the issue is, or it's both?
I'll look on YouTube.
Okay.
I was just gonna say the same thing, Chris. I was gonna log on too.
Yeah,
Ratio.
you might start a feedback war.
Oh, all right.
Sean, would you be willing to do that?
Yep, I'm doing it right now. All right,
You're in the library and it got ugly.
I can hear you I can hear you guys on YouTube.
Okay.
I can hear you on YouTube.
You hear me right now?
It's a little bit of a delay, but I can hear it.
Okay.
So maybe
It
it's
said-
just RCTV?
One person said the mic went off when Ann began speaking.
Oh, no.
Is
Mike
the room
is-
okay? Does the room look good?
It says mic is back on RCTV television, but it went out exactly when you
So our stream
began.
is fine, everything on YouTube has been fine the whole time, but we're having an issue with our channel, so if you're actually watching on RCTV, we're having issues with the audio, but if it's streaming on YouTube, everything's been fine the whole time. So
A couple of people said that now the mic is back on RCTV.
Yeah, they must have fixed it, yep. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
getting a bunch of texts now that they've.
It looks like.
So everything on
Yeah.
YouTube, the YouTube stream was fine the whole time, but apparently there was an issue with the channel for a little bit, but back
Okay.
to normal now.
All
Sorry
right,
about that, guys.
I'm hearing, and residents feel free to text us, but I got a text that the mic went out when I began my remarks, so I will start from the top.
Okay.
And if everyone could just bear with me, I just don't want, I'll do my best to say what I said before. Again, I think we had two exceptional candidates, and that Reading would be fortunate to have either serve as our next town manager. For me, Fidel has a slight edge, but first I would like to say a few words about Patrice. I think she is ready to be a town manager. She has strong financial acumen. She's performing a similar job in a peer community, which, like Mark alluded to, would place her in a position to perform the job well on day one in Reading. She excels at securing grants and other funding for the municipality that she serves. She has strong connections to the Reading area. And I personally really appreciated the answer she gave about keeping the board in the loop, such that everyone would have equal information, being fair and equitable to employees, the value she places on honesty and directness and not allowing things to fester. And one reference I'd just like to highlight that I think speaks to some of Patrice's strengths is in Belmont, Patrice does a very good job of unifying groups with different opinions, bringing people in to volunteer, and cultivating community support. And so I think that these skills would serve her well in a community like Reading or a peer community. With respect to Fidel, he's extremely community focused with hands-on leadership, which I appreciate. I would argue that he is in fact experienced his role of Commissioner of Public Works, although he is not currently a municipal manager. His portfolio expands far beyond that of a typical or traditional public works director and places him in a position of readiness to be a municipal manager. I appreciated the values he places on responsiveness and accountability, the innovation that he demonstrated in transitioning Chelsea to a 311 system. It's clear he's adept at working through conflict. With respect to his own financial skills, he is currently in charge of budgeting for his department as well as for the entirety of Chelsea's capital improvement plan. I very much appreciated the answers that he provided with respect to diversity, equity, inclusion. It's clear he looks out for vulnerable community members, that for him, inclusion is not just a buzzword, it's a value by which he lives and is deeply held. I appreciate what he said about wanting employees to bring their full humanity into the room so that everyone can flourish. He's passionate and sincere. He seeks community buy-in and is very focused on team building. His references were glowing, and one I just wanted to highlight is that Fidel has a heart for the people he is serving, leading and learning from. So he mentioned that he leads from the front, but I appreciate hearing that he also has his ear to the ground and is willing to learn from the people he serves. I think that Fidel has the vision, innovation, and record of bringing people together together with the value that he places on inclusion that will guide Reading forward into a new normal, and particularly as we're coming out of a time of anxiety and division.
Very good. I can't believe I have to go after you.
Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to let you know that I heard from a few folks that Mark's vote was cut off on the RCTV feed. Just letting you know.
Sorry, my vote was cut off?
Your vote cut off at the very end, or your last few comments. Two people have called me saying, or texted me and called me saying that they didn't hear the end of yours.
Sure.
Not your vote,
So,
Mark, your support, not your vote, your support.
Oh yes, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes, it wasn't a
Support.
vote.
I apologize.
so after kind of going through, talking in glowing terms about Patrice and also about Fidel, I started to focus on the level of commitment, becoming a face in the community, a bridge. I think that would be very important and helpful. Highlighting a little bit further on Ann's comments about equity and inclusion, I think it's very important what he's able to do in Chelsea and would be able to do with us here as well. And then my last comment before kind of the statement was that I believe that what will be very important for Fidel's success is the support of staff, the support of residents, and the support of us and all the boards in town. And I had discussions with many folks, and I believe that people are committed to doing that and making it happen. It's a very strong group of folks willing to do that. So I am putting my support to Fidel.
Okay, very good. Okay, so I echo many of the previous comments that my colleagues have said. I know initially we were thinking we might have to select a candidate the same night they interviewed, and I was glad that the landscape gave us a few more days so that I did have an opportunity to talk to a lot of community members as well, former select board members, staff, town meeting and boards and committee members, the superintendent, because I truly believe this needs to be a community discussion, and we need to have broad support in the community. So, and I also knew that we were bringing 3 incredibly talented candidates out there, which was going to make our job difficult. So now being down to 2, Patrice is an amazing town administrator, amazing candidate, and I'm so pleased. I learned about her last summer, and I said, oh, I hope she applies to Reading, and I was jumping up and down when she did. I have a lot of respect for what she's done in Belmont, a great school system. We've seen that she's had a successful track record of taking on increasing areas of responsibility in different kinds of communities, not necessarily easy communities, and being successful. One of the points that Ann touched upon, her amazing ability to go after grants for the benefit of her community, and her networking skills, networking with the legislators, including Senator Catherine Clark, and that has been wonderful for Belmont and something that Reading could definitely benefit from. So that appealed to me. And I also got a number of comments from community members about the fact that they liked her measured approach, very professional. They also felt like a number of us did that she could step into the job day 1 and they could sleep at night. And that's actually, that's a really strong characteristic and ability to have. Fidel's an amazing person and super smart, super amazing communicator. I characterized his ability to go through a wall, over a wall, around a wall as like having amazing problem-solving skills. I heard that repeatedly. A demonstrated ability to adapt and exceed in many different environments, from his initial immigration as a youth to the United States, to living in China for 3 years and building an organization and building a structure there. I would also agree that serving as the commissioner of DPW in Chelsea gives him tremendous budgeting skills, staff managing skills. It's a large organization. So initially my concern was, well, and to yours, I agree that the support needs to be there. Bernie gave me an idea that there is actually an MMA program that can help support new town managers. He can talk to us a little bit more about that if we want. And because we have such a strong staff in place, I know that he can come in here and be successful. And I do think he will seek to listen and understand and I think that's part of his success in the past. You can't solve a problem if you don't understand it. So that's an important characteristic. I also asked him point blank, not everything goes right. So he went into a great deal to describe a scenario where he needed to solve a problem in his community. Round 1 wasn't really what the community expected. So he again listened, went back with his staff, came up with round 2, and it was a success. So I think, and we've heard it from other staff members, we need to grow and change. We need to be willing to take risks. If it doesn't work the first time, we need to be willing to just adjust it until it does. And I think a lot of people in the community appreciate that. Also, again, great skills and success going after grant monies. He specifically mentioned Green Communities Grant Funds, which is a talent and a skill that in general we need here in Reading, but specifically as we are about to submit an application. And I respect his energy. I don't know how the man does it with no sleep, but energy, and communication skills. I think you said he can be the face of the community. Someone did. I do think that is, I agree. I think he's gonna be out there. He gave us a number of examples. And so again, the consensus with the board, I'm going last. I've already heard you all, so. So I'd like this to be a unanimous decision, and I can certainly get behind Fidel, absolutely. Okay, Bernie, you've heard from us.
All right, well, I think you're all set, so I think all you need at this point, you kind of made my process a little bit easier here.
Okay.
I think you can go right to number 4, which is a motion to appoint a chosen individual, subject to a successful negotiation of an employment agreement, and any further background checks deemed necessary. That's just, I'll just say that that's just language we always recommend, just in case.
Do you wanna read
But I
that?
don't see any just in case here, but
Thank you.
I would say to do that.
All right,
So I will make a motion to appoint Fidel Maltez as town manager, subject to successful negotiation of an employment agreement and any further background checks deemed necessary.
second. Okay, any discussion, board members? Chris?
Thanks, Karen. I just want to point out that I know it was a rocky road to get here in the beginning, but I appreciate you and Ann's effort, as well as the rest of the board. But I appreciate that this is a unanimous vote, and in the end, that's all that matters. So
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, Carlo, any discussion before we vote?
No, I'm excited. I look forward to the next step, and a lot of great comments. I'm glad a lot of you reiterated what the candidate said last week, just to emphasize their strengths. And I was very impressed, like I said, by all three. And I look forward to Fidel's response.
So the next step is to take a vote.
Okay, so we do need to take a vote. Carlo, you're remote. Would you like to vote first?
Yeah, yes.
Yes. Okay, Chris?
Yeah.
Ann?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Karen, yes. 5-0.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
It's exciting.
Great.
Thank you, Bernie, for your
you, Bernie.
guidance of the ship here and how we were navigating, and much appreciated.
No, it's been a real pleasure. I've really enjoyed working with all of you and the candidates, the screening committee, the public. This has been great.
Thank you.
And I can tell you that I probably shouldn't tell you that Fidel's watching.
Hi, Fidel.
He's very, very
Talk to you
excited.
soon.
We look forward to talking to you, Fidel.
We send in the budget pretty soon. So I think we also have to
We need a
select
motion.
someone to negotiate.
Okay, so,
It looks like typically chair, but other representative.
well, I'd like to, since Ian and I have been working on this, with the board's approval, I would make a motion that the chair and vice chair, as it's written here, Ivrea has already said that she's ready and willing to get on board, and they have lots of experience, and Bernie has also offered to be a sounding board and to continue to assist us. So, Carlo?
Yeah, the only question I have is it one person or two people, Bernie?
Generally, it's I've seen it both ways. They can go one or two. Obviously, you can't do more than two.
Right.
But it's good to have sort of a sounding, two people there, kind of watching it at the same time. So.
Okay, no, I totally understand that, Karen and Ann want to see this through, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cal. I'm sorry.
So I would love to be part of it, but, I agree that Ann and Karen should see this through to the end.
I will say that you will need, at some point, you will need to have some type of sit down, probably an executive session with the board to sort of outline, sort of go with the parameters of what you're going to do. But at least this gets the ball rolling.
Okay, so town council's watching, and she said, please, one candidate, no subcommittee, but she said I would be permitted to ask you for advice.
Okay.
So that's what town council's watching at home, so she recommended one official person, but said I could, so just a slight change. So,
I'm fine with that.
okay, all right, well, thank you. Okay, so,
You want a motion?
yeah, please.
Motion to authorize, I wonder if it should be Chair or Karen Herrick, the Chair, comma, Karen Herrick, comma, to begin negotiations with the selected town manager through the use of town council and the assistance of the search consultant.
Community paradigm.
Committee paradigm.
Okay, second. Any discussion? Okay, Carlo, how would you like to vote?
Just a quick discussion, quick question to Bernie, sorry. What is the typical time frame for this typically?
It is never typical. It is I would say generally though, this is wrapped up about 7 to 10 days.
Okay, so hopefully, well, very close to Christmas, but maybe we'll get lucky.
Yeah, and the thing is that Fidel is actually out of the country right now, but he's indicated to me that he's available by phone, email, text, and hopefully some communications can take place between now and then. And I would think that you probably hope for maybe some type of execution of a contract before the end of December.
I think that'd be great.
That'd be great, thank you.
Yeah, he gets back before the 31st, so you might be looking at doing this as one of the last acts of 2021.
Thank you.
So Bernie, with respect to an executive session, at what point would the board need to convene an executive session? This would be without Fidel, this would be like the board
Right.
on our own?
Right.
Okay.
I would say that you'd probably want to look at something, and I'm happy to speak with council, but I would say you'd probably be looking at sometime, maybe try to work something out for an hour-long executive session next week sometime.
Okay.
Probably by Zoom, something like that, just so that
Okay.
to work around people's schedules.
Okay, Carlo, was that, you got that, is that okay?
Yep, my vote's yes.
Okay, great, Chris,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Anne,
Yes.
Karen, yes, 5-0, thank you. Okay, no, this is so exciting, oh my gosh.
Should we talk about when that session might
Yes.
take place?
If
Might
you
as
want, yep, that's a good idea.
And if Ria's watching too, we think.
You can now put on.
Maria is on the Zoom call, yes.
Oh, she is,
The lights are on.
Okay.
Yeah, the lights
Okay,
are on,
great.
no blinking, so
so she can hear us and talk now?
Yeah.
All right,
Chris is ready to celebrate.
I hope you can hear me, but
yes, we can.
We can.
I concur with everything Bernie said. Hopefully we can work collaboratively with Felix and get something
Fidel.
scheduled for later part of next week, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, if that works with the board.
Yeah, it's fine for me.
Anything by Zoom works for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that can work. I think
Okay.
given a
There's-
choice, maybe Wednesday, but either one actually works, so.
I'm not sure that I could do Wednesday,
Oh,
actually.
all right, so maybe
but
Thursday.
Well, depending on the time,
Maybe we could do a doodle again. Maybe I can figure out how to do a doodle and you guys can.
I'm just.
sorry,
we're
you
here,
know
let's
what,
just figure it
I
out.
might be looking at the wrong week. No, Thursday's still actually a
Monday's
little
the
bit better.
20th, right?
Yeah,
Monday.
So
Monday's
Thursday would be
20th.
the 23rd.
yep,
Is there a time that's
Jeez,
preferred
okay.
for an hour?
I know that's very
I mean, you can vote it.
Yep.
Do you want to do 6 to 7?
Guys, this is to pencil in a slot, even though we may or may not use it, correct?
I think you will need to use it.
I think we're talking about setting it up.
Okay,
Could we do like Monday night? Is that too soon?
I think that's,
If Ria's on the
Yeah.
call.
We could do Monday, and it just depends on whether we've made enough progress. The only thing that could potentially happen is we would need a subsequent meeting after that Monday.
Okay,
But it sounds like, there's energy on both sides here, so we might be able to get at least started, so that the meeting would be productive.
I have a holiday party on Monday. so I can't do it.
And I have something on Wednesday.
I think I have a conflict on Monday evening if you want me involved.
Tuesday?
Tuesday?
But
21st.
Yep.
How is
That's
Tuesday
fine.
the 21st for folks?
Yeah.
Works?
Carlo, Tuesday the 21st?
Yeah, I live at work now, so that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so like
Just make the bed before you get on Zoom, all right?
6 to 7 PM.
So, I mean, if we could do 7:30, that's always easier for me. If we
As long as it's an hour, yeah.
Yep, it's
Yeah,
fine
that's
for me.
fine, that's fine.
7:30.
All right,
7:30 on the
Yeah.
21st?
on the 21st, yep. I think we can all do that. Is that good, Ivrea?
So Sean, we'll just
Yep,
need your
I
help.
can work with Bob tomorrow to get it posted.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
7:30. Fabulous.
You look different without the shovel in the background or whatever that is. Ivrea.
Oh, that's a pizza
Oh,
server.
it's a pizza peel.
Oh, look, oh, there it is. All right, never mind.
Yeah.
You look like why do you have a pizza thing in your office? I don't even want to
It
know.
serves multiple purposes.
Yeah.
would be
Don't
my
forget
guess.
you're wearing that crown now. So
Oh,
kind of lends
yeah, so
a
we're
little.
taking the select board picture right now, right?
Yeah, great, let's do that. Okay, that was our agenda, good work.
That's it.
Okay, go team.
you.
Bernie, thank you so
Motion.
much.
I will contact both of the candidates and let them know what the status is.
Okay,
Thank you, Bernie.
Thanks, Bernie.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
And yeah, please thank
Thank you.
Patrice very much
Good night.
for us.
Thanks,
Thank you.
bye.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Motion to adjourn.
second.
All those in favor?
Wait, gotta do.
Carlo?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes,
Yes,
Ann? Karen, yes. We're adjourned.
nice job, folks.
good job, everyone.